Well, I was young, so everybody was just like, oh my God, you're pregnant. And so it was fun and banter, but it wasn't for me because it was real.
Hard work.
Sleepless nights.
You kind of have this whole blissful want to be wonderful, and then
Reality happens.
yeah.
Yeah, watching them growing up and learning new things and just knowing that they're yours, like, I don't know, just having another life to look after. I just like the thought of that. I love it. But yeah, they're pests sometimes though.
Oh, awesome. So good. It's difficult, I'm not going to say it's easy, but it can definitely, it's got its positives, like.
Just random moments when we're just sitting down and he's having something to eat or something like that, he'll just give a smile or something like that. You kind of think, yeah, that's kind of what it's all about, really.
It didn't really hit me until like I went to my first scan, and I still like didn't really believe anything until like I got a bump and then like, had to move to school, and that's when I realised that I was actually pregnant.
It's scary, innit? It just wasn't real. Didn't feel real at all. It just felt like somebody was lying to me.
One of the first things you face is finding out you're pregnant, and everyone's experience can be different.
I kind of knew, like, because like me and my partner, we've been together from we were like, I was 14, he was 15. So like we never used it then, so you knew for one day it was going to happen. But yeah, no, we're kind of shocked because obviously you never think it's going to happen to you. But yeah, I was happy though. But I had to take the test every year on my own before I was going to school, and I took it and I was like ran to school. Like, I'm always late and I wasn't late that day.
My mum was with me when I found out, and then when I told my dad, oh well, we fell out for quite a while. I think didn't speak for about a month. And then, I don't know, my dad's okay about it now. And my mum was she was quite shocked. But she should support us no matter what I decided to do. Which she has, she supported us through everything.
After the initial shock,
Yeah.
like so those first 2 weeks was absolute hell. My mum would sit up waiting for me to get home from work because I worked in a hotel, so I'd get home and she'd be sitting there and she'd sit there for an hour and a half looking at me, and then she'd be like, I'm going to bed, but beforehand I'm just going to, and then she'd be like, you're ruining your life. And then after that I took her to the first scan, and when she heard the heartbeat, that was it, she's smitten.
Yeah.
It worked.
Yeah, the heartbeat worked.
I got some involvement. I got to see all the scan photos. I wanted to be involved from the start. That was like, once I knuckled down and sort of says to myself, right, hey, I've got grown up to do. I wanted involved in everything.
I was over the moon. It was hot.
It did take a while to kind of get to grips, if you know what I mean. To kind of understand we have a kid now, you know, there's a lot that's going to change, more responsibilities, and little time to grow up, you know, from the way we were.
I actually thought I was pregnant. I'd just actually come back off holiday from down in England, and was getting really unwell, like when I was smoking and like eating certain things, and just my breasts were getting pretty sore, so I went to the doctors and I was expecting it. I can't say I wasn't expecting it, like, but yeah.
Pregnancy can be an emotional time, and then there's giving birth, and everyone has a different story to tell.
I had a great pregnancy, but the worst labour ever.
I got all the way to 7 to 8 centimetres with no pain, no nothing. Got through to 9 wells, and then all hell broke out.
I don't know, just because I was young, I don't think they treat you the way they should treat you. Like, I think they treat you quite, like you don't know nothing, and like, yeah, I didn't like it. The first time was horrible. I just cried every night I was in there. I had to be in like 5 nights and I was crying every night. I hated it. But like with my second one, I was in the new unit, and that was brilliant.
But I feel that they looked down on me obviously because I was younger than most of the people that were in the ward. But like, and I says to them I was having contractions, and they were like tried to tell me I wasn't, and I was like, but I'm not sitting in this pain for no reason. And I didn't believe it until I got this week, and then they're like, oh, maybe you are.
I'd say pretty positive, like, compared to what you hear about from everybody else. It was absolutely fantastic. The staff were fantastic with me. They were willing to give me their time, one-on-one support all the time if I had any problems, and that was fantastic.
All I remember is pulling the blind open and just, yes! And even before it, like, the bubble that I was in was just, oh, I wish I could return to that bubble.
But for some, that bubble can burst. Postnatal depression can go unnoticed, and some parents may find it hard to admit.
But I think if I was to fill out the form truthfully, I probably would have been diagnosed with it. But because I always thought to myself, because I was young, I always thought if I tell the truth and I do get told I've got it, then they might want to start monitoring us and trying to take, like, you never know, like, I was thinking they might want to take my wee girl off us or anything, so no, I kind of just lied through all that. Which maybe me, in the long run, it hasn't affected me, but some people, if they were to lie, it could affect you and you could end up, like, bad, like, in a bad way.
Second time was really hard. I was quite ill. Postnatal depression. I was severely, really depressed. I was in hospital and I was really, really ill. It took me a few years to recover from that.
But my thing with the postnatal depression, it wasn't the baby, it was me and everyone else around about. And that's kind of what's happening this time round as well. First time round, there was no help. There was no, like, continuous support from the health visitors and the doctors that I felt, well, what's the point? I felt I was bothering them by going and asking for help. So I just kind of dealt with it and got on with it.
Having support is vital, and it can come in a variety of ways.
At one time in Dundee, there was 4 girls got pregnant at the same time, and they wondered what they would do with them because they had to be in school as they were under 16. So it started off as one classroom in a house with one teacher, and basically it's just grown from there.
As I say, like, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I didn't want to come back to school. I wanted to just leave, go to college, do what I needed to do. But I came here, and I'm glad I did, because I've had the support from here, and I've been able to carry on my education as well.
This education includes input from local services around sexual health and relationships.
Yeah, I think they're responding really well. They're quite receptive to learning about sexual health and relationships education because they feel that they've not had enough of it during mainstream classes due to either absences and missing it within their SE classes. So I think they're responding really well. They're keen to ask as many questions as possible, and probably more so because they do have a child of their own now, and more for future when they have to talk to their children about sexual health and relationships. They're trying to get as much information as possible.
The parents make it out to be a bad thing that it's here. It's like they don't like it. Like, we've had complaints, people putting statuses on Facebook about it and stuff. Like, it's a bad thing. They don't understand that it's actually a really good thing for young people.
I think some cope better than others, you know, it just depends on their circumstances, how mature they are when they get pregnant, maybe their attitude towards what's about to happen to them and things like that as well. So some do cope really well, and others
I think
need a lot of support.
The advantage that our girls have is the majority of them have support from their families, whereas if you're just, you know, a married woman on your own, you don't have that huge sort of live-in support. So our girls, the majority of them do have a lot of support.
Yeah, they do, they do
and
well.
they cope really well.
All in all, kind of, it was okay, obviously, because I had you, like John and his family and stuff around me, and I didn't exactly feel on my own. But it was also hard not having my own family around all the time to kind of help me through and give support and stuff like that.
But my grandparents, they really supported me. They helped me with everything. At that time I was staying with them. They helped with everything. I mean, I didn't have the best amount of money. They helped me so much. I'm so grateful to them for that.
Even with support, being a parent still has its challenges.
Making all the big decisions.
What's right for the child?
Yeah,
knowing that the
right.
decisions you make are going to affect the rest of their lives.
Yeah. I'm more aware of things around me now. You know, having him on my own all the time, having to do housework all the time on my own, feeding him, making sure we eat together and stuff like that, and just kind of bonding with him. Then going out doing shopping all the time, and it is busy, extremely busy.
It's getting harder. I'm finding it getting harder as they're getting older. Like Aaron's
coming up 11, he's having, you know, like arguments with his pals at school, or doesn't want to do this and doesn't want to do that, and it's just hard, like testing times with him just now.
It was quite stressful in certain situations, like putting nappies on, and oh god, where'd I start? And I read up on things though, before I made sure like I got kind of myself clued up.
We think more than anything time management. I think to be able to have time for themselves as young people, to have time as a mum, and to do their studies as well. I think, you know, they have a lot to fit in to their life, and they don't always get the balance right sometimes. So I think that's one of their biggest challenges, is making everything fit.
No, for me it is hard to see when he is in pain, and knowing that I have to leave. You know, and I probably wouldn't see him for another 2 days or something like that, because of college. It's Thursday, Friday, and then sometimes on the weekend I don't see him because I'm working, maybe, you know. It's not easy.
Home life wasn't easy at one point because of it. Just adapting to the lifestyle of being a mum, I think. Well, at the start, I mean, now she's got it down to a T, but at the start I'd say it was a lot harder for her.
Unfortunately, as a young parent, the daily challenges aren't all you have to face.
Unfortunately, I think, they still carry a stigma, and we think the girls carry it very unfairly. We think they're the ones that, you know, bear the brunt because they have the physical evidence of what's been going on in front of them.
The boys, it's like, good on you.
You know, the boys
they don't
can
have the same
deny
stigma.
knowledge, deny whatever, but the girls are the ones that are out there, you know, with the physical evidence of what the relationship's been, and they are the ones that
And
that
that's
have
not
to
just
carry
from
it.
their own peers.
No,
We got
that's-
it. You get it from
get it
adults as well. And I think what a lot of people don't know or choose not to find out about is we've had girls that have actually been abused, raped, sex while
they've had
drunk.
protected sex, and the precautions have failed and
So
things
it's
like that.
not
So it's not
always
always just they were drunk at a party
promiscuity,
or they sleep around or whatever like that. I think that's the easy answer for some people because it's uncomfortable to think about what the other options could be.
You get the looks like, oh, you're a young mum. It's like they think we're scum purely because of being a young mum. But like nobody knows our situation, what could have happened to us to fall pregnant or anything. They just judge you.
A young father is like labelled right away. If you look at situations, I'm not saying my own, but if you look at situations, in most situations the young dads like walked away and left their kid, and I got, you'll never step up, you know, because I didn't exactly have the shiniest past, that I got brought into it as well. You'll never do this, you know, you'll never be like him, so and so, so and so. There was so much. It was really unreal.
I think the older generation seem to think that if you're young having kids, you can't do it.
Yeah, that's exactly. The
They
stigma never
think
leaves.
that they're just going to grow up to be the next delinquent generation.
I just thought that'll never be me until I'm like settled in a proper relationship and I'm older. But I don't look down at people like that because they might be happy with somebody and they might have been them for like 3 years, you never know. Could be happy and they maybe planned it. I would never look down on somebody for being pregnant because I was them once.
Age is just a number to me, always has been. Shouldn't change the way anybody else does. A 30-year-old woman with a baby of their own could be doing the exact same thing we're doing, just different ways of doing it. It's just a number.
Yeah, I think if it's a bit of a sweeping statement to say if you're a young person, then you can't do this because they can.
Yeah.
And they often do it with barriers that other people don't have.
Exactly.
A supportive partner, money in the bank, things like that. They don't have these things. And we're also expecting them to come back to school sort of 6 weeks after the baby's born, to be sitting maybe exams 2-3 weeks after babies are born, things like that. So we ask a lot of them.
Now that you've heard about the realities of being a young parent, would this influence your choices? Here is what some young parents would say to you.
I don't know, I think if they were thinking about having a child, I would say don't yet, wait until you're older, because but if they already were, then I would just say, well, just don't have any more for ages, because it's really hard, and a lot of people just don't realise how hard it is. I think that's the problem.
But tell them to think, because like there's a lot of things you've got to think about before. Like when I was pregnant, I didn't think half the stuff I'd done that to have to be doing that. Like when I had her, it was just about dressing them up and having designer stuff. It's about their needs and what they need.
Yeah, I would definitely say to them, have it. If you're ready to have and you're in a stable relationship, or even if you aren't in a stable relationship, if you're willing to bring that kid up on your own, or you think you're going to have the support from your family, then go for it. I would never say, nah, you're too young to have one, because I would just be a hypocrite, because I didn't myself.
If I'm being honest, I would say wait until you're at a mature age. Wait until you know and you're ready. I mean, when I was 18, I wasn't ready. I was too busy wondering what the score on Saturday would be, rather than being a dad, you know. And at that time I wanted to go out a lot, and you know, I was at the peak of my friendships and my friend circle and my social circles, and I thought to myself, you know, at that age, to be honest, I wouldn't discourage anybody, to be honest, but wait until you're ready.
Trying to set up a young mums group for other mums sort of around the same age group as me, so it's not as full on as all the other groups.
I'm trying to kind of get into my stage where I can get my own group going, more so for young dads as well, because I feel that there isn't enough support on dads.
I want to go to college and study admin or hospitality or something like that.
Yeah, I want to have a full-time job, or even a job, just any job. I want to go to college, but I'm not really sure what. But I want to do something to, like, helping people.
Now I have something to work for, you know. Now I have a reason to get the money in. Before Heather was pregnant and was single and whatnot, it was just like, alright, you got money, what are you really going to do? But now, I can actually say something constructive I've done with my money.
For my kid to have a happy life and grow up, go to nursery school, do everything that I probably never done. Well, I stayed on to 5th year and everything, but I mean, want them to go to university and do well with themselves. Everything that I want them to do, they'll do it.